It's week 2, day 11 of my spinal rehab. Quick status update. I'm pretty fatigued today, very tired. I know the trigger, however, a couple days ago on day 9, I used a vibration gun. Actually, had a technician use a vibration gun on my middle back. And he mentioned how the gun kept firing back into his hand as opposed to moving my spine. So that was a pretty good indicator that it wasn't going to work very well, but now I'm feeling the full effects and I'm pretty tired. Even so, I got up and went to the gym anyway and the recovery center, so I'm proud of myself for that. A couple of personal bests. Today I was able to swim for 30 minutes, not entirely continuous, but I swam for 30 minutes. And that's, again, a personal best. And then the other personal best is I was in the dry sauna for 40 minutes today. That's the longest I've ever been in there. I use that as kind of a mental conditioning exercise. So 2 triumphs, even though I was fatigued and not feeling particularly good. So I'm going to pat myself on the back for that. Pat, pat. Okay, next, some tips. I think the big thing I've learned this time is the recovery center is going to be key to my getting better. The place I go to is called Recharge Sports Performance, and they just have a lot of different options I can use to facilitate my recovery. And I've just noticed that, for example, after the vibration gun incident, that caused problems, but I went back in and did some other techniques called cupping and scrubbing. And the cupping and scrubbing techniques really did seem to pull me out of the pain that I was in. The next day it went down significantly, but then again, I'm still feeling that sort of fatigue after effect from the vibration gun. So it's not all gone, but it brought me back. So it can help and it can also hurt. Going forward, I'm going to slow things down a little bit with recovery. I'm going to, at most, try one new recovery technique a week. And next week, since I'm starting with a personal trainer, I'm not going to try any new recovery techniques because I don't need that many variables going on at one time. I was a little gung-ho here at the beginning with the recovery techniques because they were kind of new, and I was excited to find out what happened, what worked and what didn't work. And in the end, 50% of them worked well that I've tried so far, and 50% didn't. So it's been pretty mixed. Now that I know what some of those techniques are that work for me, I don't really feel the drive to try as many new ones as quickly. So I'm going to slow things down on that front and put on the brakes a bit. All right. So today's message or theme is do the next right thing. So I mentioned how I was fatigued this morning. I got up. I went to the gym anyway. That was an example of me doing the next right thing. Yes, I'm stealing that line from Frozen 2. It happens to be one of the best Disney songs I think that's ever been written because it applies to so many situations in life where you feel overwhelmed and or for some reason you can't quite get yourself to move on. So instead of thinking about the final destination, you think about the next step you can take, and you take that step. And then after a while, you've taken a bunch of steps and you're moving in some important direction. So I am going to give, the reason I know that song so well is my daughter, Eden, watches it so often that I pretty much memorized all the characters and they feel like they're members of our family. So anyway, Anna, thank you for your inspirational song. And I am going to do the next right thing. So anyway, when I got up this morning, I started kind of thinking about all the things I had to do that became overwhelming. And so I dialed it back to the current task. Okay, get out of bed. I got out of bed. And then I went to the gym. I got to the gym. And I'm going to walk you through how I broke down my day because this is pretty much how my Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday schedule looks. These are kind of my off days. I'm still doing things. I'm not weightlifting though. I swim, I go to the recovery center, etc. So first, I got to the gym and then I got myself in the hot tub for 10 minutes. This is part of my warm-up routine for swimming, so I don't go into the pool cold. And then I started swimming. Well, I did about 10 laps of breaststroke and 4 laps of freestyle. But as I started doing it, I was tired already. And so the first lap felt like, oh my gosh, I have to do how many more of these? So I just broke it down. Instead of thinking about the total count, I just did it 1 lap at a time. If that was too much, I took it half a lap at a time. So you can always take big steps and break them down into smaller steps. Next, I put myself in the dry sauna. I didn't worry too much about how long I was going to be in there. I stayed in there for a while until I started to feel uncomfortable. And then I went and kind of checked the clock to see what time it was and realized, oh, I've got another 15 minutes to go, refilled my water bottle, went back in. And I completed that step. And then the next step was to go to the recovery center. And there I do a hot and cold tub. Today was more of an endurance day, so I did the hot tub for a few minutes and then I got in the cold tub for 15 minutes. I just focused again on that one task and just normalizing my breathing and allowing myself to listen to the jacuzzi motor. And I just settled in and did the cold tub. And then after that, we did a technique called scrubbing, where the technician will put his elbow near my spine, some of the areas that I'm tight, and he'll push down a little bit and pull away from the spine. And he'll just kind of walk my spine and do that on both sides a couple times. Scrubbing is one of those techniques that actually works for me, and so I did that today, and it did seem to help. And then sometimes I'll do a TENS unit, or there's another technique called cupping that I'd never tried before that also seems to help. So that's how I broke my day down, and I did get through it. And in fact, I had a couple of personal bests, which were a little bit of a surprise to me. I was actually able to swim more than I thought I'd be able to swim. I was able to endure the dry sauna longer than I thought I could endure the dry sauna. And it all what happened, it was all facilitated by my breaking all of these bigger steps into smaller steps and just taking it one step at a time.